سلام و شب بخیر عرض میکنم خدمت دوستان عزیزی که دارن برنامه ما رو نگاه میکنن. امیدوارم که هر جا هستید سالم و سلامت باشید. با اعلام ساعت نمیدونم چند شب در خدمت شماییم با یه ویدیوی دیگه. از اولش بگم که نمیدونم تنظیمات OBS هم به هم خورده و صدا دچار تغییراتی نسبت به ویدیوهای قبلیه که به بزرگی خودتون ببخشید. نمیدونم مشکل از کجاست و چرا اینطوری شده. به صورت کاملا خودکاری شدت صدا جابجا شد که زیاد فکر نکنم مهم باشه. در کنار شما هستیم با یه سری 5 تایی فکر کنم ویدیو که قرار هر روزی یه دونه ویدیوش بیاد. این ویدیو اوله. اگر حالا این ویدیو رو میبینید چند روز گذشته باشه ویدیوهای بعدیش هم اومده. از طرف آقای میکروفون هم به شما سلام میکنم که دوست عزیز ما که اینجا هستش و به بادی بنده. خب همونجوری که تایتل ویدیو هم دیدید، خب گفتیم که بعد از عملکرد درخشان و پرتغال در دور گروهی به نظر من یه ویدیو از رونالدو ببینیم که بشوره ببره. واقعا دیگه چیز دیگه برای گفتن ندارم. امیدوارم که قبل از اینکه حالا ویدیو رو شروع کنیم لایک سابسکرایبر رو فراموش نکنید، ما رو به دوستاتون هر کسی که میشناسید معرفی بکنید. امیدوارم که از ویدیو لذت ببرید. حالا هر جای ویدیو اگر نکته‌ای بود چیزی بود خواستید کامنت زماندار بذارید که حالا من سعی میکنم جواب بدم دیگه. اگر نکته خاصی بود اوکیش میکنیم. بریم ببینیم دنیا دست کیه. واقعا خوابم میاد، یعنی اصلا دارم میمیرم. جهانی کلا ساعت خواب ما رو به هم زد.
If Ronaldo is a team player, I think he should step down and understand that he has to be a player that comes off the bench as an impact player.
Five in red in the middle. Ronaldo! Farewell may be approaching, but the legend is not finished yet.
There's only one position on the pitch at 41 years of age you should be starting a game, and that's goalkeeper for me.
Cristiano Ronaldo! He's done it again!
He negatively impacts on the rest of the players in terms of what they have to give, because they feel they've got to pass and got to do that.
Mendes with his loop up. Oh! He's always there. Try to keep doubting him. He keeps on coming back.
It was only a matter of time before he got on the score sheet.
خدا پدر کاناوارو و ازبکستان رو بیامرزه که با انواع سبک‌های مختلف به پرتغال گل خوردن و دنده خدا رو از منجلاب یکم سعی کردن بکشن بیرون که کلمبیا دوباره انداختشون داخل منجلاب. من خودم به شخصه دوست داشتم یه پرتغال آرژانتین ببینیم، ولی فکر نکنم این وضعیت به همچین چیزی ندید نمیشه دیگه. من فینال ان شاءالله فینال میخورم. ولی از حالا من یه ویدیو درست کرده بودم توی کانال گذاشته بودم. ما از یه مربی ایتالیایی حداقل این توقع رو داریم که دفاع درستابی داشته باشه. یعنی ما از کاناوارویی که برنده توپ طلای مثلا یا این مربی ایتالیاییه که حداقل باید تفکرات دفاعی درستابی داشته باشه. باید بدونه که چجوری من دفاعمو اورگانایز کنم. آقا تو از رونالدوی 41 ساله داری پشت دفاع میخوری. من نمیدونم این چطوری ممکنه. اصلا این در مخیلی من نمیدونم. خب مثلا جاگیری دفاع اصلا چیز عجیب غریب بود. حالا دیگه بهش نمیپردازیم دیگه، تموم شد دیگه.
Fantastic character development for him, by the way, to let someone else take a free kick. The decoy worked to perfection.
But it's Mendes! And he drills it in!
The FIFA World Cup is football's biggest stage, and it's been a crazy journey for Ronaldo in this competition. He has had some incredible moments.
Ronaldo. Oh, genius! Absolute genius!
But he has also had some really low moments. As the years have passed, at each World Cup, we have seen a different version of Ronaldo, from the explosive winger who terrorized defenders to a goal-scoring machine, and eventually just an unk trying to outrun time itself. Whether he's scoring or not scoring, he remains a talking point. For some, he's the greatest goal scorer and player football has ever seen. For others, he is a superstar refusing to let go. At 41 years old, naturally, Ronaldo is no longer the unstoppable force that terrorized defenders during his prime. Playing his club football in Saudi Arabia had had many fans and people questioning whether this guy still had what it takes to lead Portugal's attack, especially when the squad is packed with younger stars. Now, the Nations League win had silenced some of those critics. He scored multiple times in the business end of the competition, including the final. But the criticism returned after Portugal's opening match against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ronaldo played the full 90 minutes and he was just doing cardio. The poor guy looked completely isolated. He managed just 25 touches, the fewest he had ever recorded in a major international tournament, while playing the entire game. He missed a couple of decent chances, failed to register a shot on target, and just struggled to make any real impact as Portugal as a team stumbled to a disappointing 1-1 draw. Naturally, with him being the biggest name in the face of the team, the reaction was brutal. Everyone flooded social media with criticism. Even I made a video. For a few days, it felt like the same conversation that we saw at the 2022 World Cup and the 2024 Euros. Was Ronaldo finally finished? Then came Uzbekistan. With the pressure building, Martinez made a few tactical changes. João Felix came into the starting lineup, Ruben Dias returned to full fitness, and Portugal looked far more balanced from the first whistle.
هر چقدر که ما کردیت این تغییر تاکتیکشو مارتینز مربی پرتغال دارم تو بازی دوم دادیم، تو بازی سوم باز همین دوگ بودن کار دستش داد. یعنی تو جلوی تیمی که بلاک مطلق چیده بود، حالا نگو بلاک مطلق مثل این تیم، تو میتونستی از ژائو فیلیکس استفاده کنی، ولی جلوی تیمی که باستر بازی میکرد مثل کلمبیا داشت تو رو از بالا پرس میکرد. تو یکی مثل لیاو نیاز داشتی. البته لیاو 2-3 سال پیش، نه لیاوی که الان داره بازی میکنه.
And 6 minutes into the game, Ronaldo answered every single one of his critics. From there, Portugal took complete control of the match. Nuno Mendes made it 2-0 before Ronaldo struck again just before halftime to give Portugal a commanding 3-goal lead. After one of the worst performances of his World Cup career, he had delivered one of his best. He finished the match with 2 goals, 7 shots, 6 of them on target, and a brilliant all-around display. More importantly, the brace made history. Those goals took Ronaldo to 10 World Cup goals, moving him past the legendary Eusebio and making him Portugal's all-time leading scorer in World Cup history. I mean, he's come a long way since the Ronaldo I first watched at the 2006 World Cup. The 2006 World Cup in Germany was the
خوبیش اینه که ما تو هر چپتر از زندگی رونالدو بودیم. یعنی 2006 اولین گلش رو به ما زد، 2018 هم که
first time the football world truly got a look at Cristiano Ronaldo on the biggest stage. At just 21 years old, Ronaldo was still a young, explosive winger full of confidence, tricks, and just raw talent. Portugal were in a transitional period, still relying on stars from their famous golden generation like Luis Figo, Deco, and Pauleta. But it was becoming clear that Ronaldo was the future. Playing under Luis Felipe Scolari, Ronaldo was given the freedom to attack defenders, use his pace, and create chaos from out wide. He scored his first ever World Cup goal in the group stage against Iran, calmly converting a penalty to help Portugal secure a 2-0 win. Portugal cruised through the group and survived a brutal round of 16 clash against the Netherlands. I mean, this was a match so physical, it became known as the Battle of Nuremberg. Ronaldo was forced off injured in tears after a tough challenge, but Portugal still found a way through. That set up a huge quarterfinal against England. The match ended 0-0 after 120 minutes and went to penalties. Portugal's goalkeeper Ricardo became the hero, saving 3 English penalties and
این همون یارویی که دستکشو میکند پنالتی میگرفت. این دقیقا همونه. ریاض تو مجلد کسی که اینو میبینه فکر نکنم نسل من اینو ندیدن، ولی خب یه نسل قبل من حتما یادشونه که دروازه‌بان دستکشو میکند با دست خالی پنالتی میگرفت.
giving Portugal a chance. Portugal's goalkeeper Ricardo became the hero, saving 3 English penalties and giving Portugal a chance to reach the semi-finals. With everything on the line,
اصلا یکی از عجیب‌ترین اتفاقات اون دوری بود که هم لمپارد هم جرارد تصمیم گرفتن که پنالتی خراب بکنن و این در تاریخ انگلیس خیلی عجیبه که دو تا از ریلایبل ترین بازیکناشون، دو تا از بازیکنایی که ستون اصلی تیمشون بودن دقیقاً پنالتی خراب کردن. تیم از بین میبردی. البته اخراج رونی هم جزوی از پروسه.
Ronaldo stepped up to take the decisive spot kick. The young winger showed nerves of steel, smashing the ball into the corner before sprinting away in celebration as Portugal reached their first World Cup semi-final in 40 years.
Portugal are World Cup semi-finalists.
It was one of the first major signs that Ronaldo loved the biggest moments, and he loves pens. But the moment most people remember from Ronaldo's 2006 World Cup wasn't the winning penalty. It was actually the wink. During the quarterfinal, Ronaldo's Manchester United teammate, Wayne Rooney, was sent off after stomping on Ricardo Carvalho. Ronaldo immediately appealed to the referee, who showed Rooney a straight red card. As Rooney walked off, television cameras caught Ronaldo winking towards the Portuguese bench. That single moment caused absolute chaos back in England. The British media turned Ronaldo into public enemy number 1 overnight. Headlines accused him of betraying his club teammate, and many believed his partnership with Rooney at Manchester United was finished.
کلا رسانه‌های انگلیسی مزخرف زیاد میگن، شما زیاد بهشون توجه نکنید. نمیدونم چی کار میکنن، مثلا کار زندگی ندارن، فقط چرت و پرت، هیچ منطقی پشتشون نیست. مثلا اینا رو بخونید متوجه میشید. حالا
Look at this.
Look at that. Is he just winked there?
I think there's every chance that Wayne Rooney could go back to the Man United training ground and stick one on Ronaldo.
That one moment made Ronaldo become one of the most hated players in England. By the time the 2010 World Cup arrived, Cristiano Ronaldo was the biggest name in football. Fresh off a world record move to Real Madrid, Ronaldo entered the tournament carrying the expectations of an entire nation. He had also been given the...
به کارلوس کیروش. این موقع شب کی میاد ویدیو میگیره که من دارم ویدیو میگیرم؟ خدا وکیلی. چقدر چیز کردم. خدا خوابتون گرفت فکر کنم. این نصف شب نبینید، قطعا خوابتون میگیره این ویدیو رو. و کیروش
captain's armband by Portugal manager Carlos Queiroz, making him the face of a Portuguese team that was going through a period of transition. But with that responsibility came enormous pressure. Portugal's road to South Africa had been difficult, and once they arrived at the tournament, Queiroz set up the team in a very cautious and defensive way, like Arsenal. The approach worked defensively as Portugal kept clean sheets against the Ivory Coast, North Korea, and Brazil. The problem was at the other end of the pitch. Portugal struggled to create chances, and often looked completely reliant on Ronaldo to make something happen, surrounded by defenders and receiving little support.
یکی از قشنگترین کیتای تاریخ پرتغال به نظر من، خدا که خیلی قشنگه. واقعیت رو با گفت کیتشون قشنگه.
He was just isolated up front. Portugal scored in only one match during the entire tournament, which was a 7-0 demolition of North Korea, before being knocked out by the eventual champion Spain in the round of 16. Ronaldo's best moment came during that famous win over the North Koreans. Now, fun fact, heading into that match, he actually hadn't scored for Portugal in over 16 months. Then, in the 87th minute, he finally ended the drought in one of the strangest goals of his career.
It's Ronaldo who's getting there first. It's 6 for Portugal.
I mean, what am I watching here? Even though Portugal struggled as a team, Ronaldo's individual performances still stood out. He was named the man of the match in all 3 group stage games. The lowest point of that tournament, though, came after Portugal's elimination against Spain. Following the 1-0 loss, a very visibly frustrated Ronaldo walked off the pitch and was immediately asked by reporters why Portugal had been knocked out. His response was very short and to the point. Ask Carlos Queiroz.
How dare you! چه درز صحبت کردن در مربی بزرگی مثل کیروش؟ خجالت بکش. تو کی هستی که پشت سر کیروش؟
The 2014 World Cup was supposed to be Cristiano Ronaldo's moment. He arrived in Brazil at the absolute peak of his powers. Just months earlier, he had won his second Ballon d'Or and helped Real Madrid finally win their long-awaited 10th Champions League title, La Decima. Everything seemed perfectly set up for Ronaldo to lead Portugal on a deep World Cup run. There was just one problem. His body was breaking down. In the months leading up to the tournament, Ronaldo was dealing with serious knee and thigh issues. Doctors warned him that he needed several months of rest to properly recover. But the thought of missing a World Cup was unthinkable, so he played through the pain. The decision came at a cost. From the very first match, it was obvious Ronaldo wasn't himself.
این کیتشون واقعا تو سال 2014 خیلی شبیه کیت الان نشونه، اینجا نشونه.
The explosive acceleration, quick changes of direction, and devastating athleticism that made him one of the world's best players were noticeably missing. Portugal struggled badly and were crushed.
Overrated. یکی از overrated ترین تیم ها و بازیکن های تاریخ رو این تیم داشت. کاملا مشخصه. چی بگم دیگه؟ شانس خیلی مهمه. شاید خدا داره ما رو امتحان میکنه، من نمیدونم.
4-0 by Germany in their opening game. That's the match where Ronaldo hit a one-man wall with his free kick.
چرا؟ یه بار دیگه.
Devastating athleticism that made him one of the world's best players were noticeably missing. Portugal struggled badly and were crushed 4-0 by Germany in their opening game. That's the match where Ronaldo hit a one-man wall.
آقا یک نفر. خب نزن، سانت کن، مجبورت کردن مگه؟ مثلا یک نفر، وای خدا. یک نفر واسطه، یعنی این ریاضیات حساب کنی یک در کمتر از چند درصد احتمال داره که توپ بخوره به اون یه نفری که اونجا واسطه. چی بگم والا، هر روز هر کس ممکنه پیش بیاد.
ball with his free kick. He tried to inspire the team, but it's hard to do that when you're not playing well yourself. A 2-2 draw against the Americans left Portugal hanging by a thread, and they entered the final match needing a miracle. Now against the US, Ronaldo still managed to produce an unforgettable moment. Deep into stoppage time, Portugal were down 2-1 and staring at elimination. With one final attack, Ronaldo picked up the ball on the right wing and delivered a beautiful curling cross into the box. Varela met it with a powerful header and buried it into the net in the 95th minute.
Twist in the final seconds now into the last 30.
یه لحظه.
And buried it into the net in the 95th minute.
Twist.
رونالدو اونجا چیکار میکنه؟ یعنی من آخرین باری که رونالدو رو سمت راست زمین دیدم یادم نمیاد، شاید ابتدایی بوده باشم. اونجا چیکار میکنه بنده خدا؟ فکر کنم همزمان دیگه تو این تیم اینقدر داغون بوده، هم مهاجم راست بازی میکرده هم مهاجم چپ بازی میکرده، دیگه هم دروازه‌بان هم وای میستاد.
In the final seconds now into the last 30. Oh, and we have
The goal rescued a draw and temporarily kept Portugal's World Cup dream alive. It was a reminder that even
اینا کیان به خدا؟ واقعا من این اسکواد رو بخونی شاید دو تاشون رو یادت بیاد، بقیه‌شون هیچکدوم یاد نمیاد، نمیدونی کیه.
if he wasn't at his best physically, Ronaldo could still produce some magic. Portugal eventually beat Ghana in their final group match with Ronaldo scoring the winning goal, but it wasn't enough. They were eliminated on goal difference and crashed out in the group stage. Unlike 2010 where Portugal's problems were largely tactical, the story of 2014 was physical. It was a reminder that even the greatest athletes in the world cannot always outrun injury.
Ronaldo with the shot. Oh, it's gone in!
If 2014 was the story of Ronaldo battling his body, 2018 was the story of Ronaldo at his most ruthless. Arriving in Russia, he was in outstanding form. He had already won 5 Champions
تا قبل از 2016 حالا این هم فاصله بده. تا قبل 2016 زیاد کسی رو پرتغال حساب نمی‌کرد. همون رانی هم که 2016 داشتن خیلی شاخص قرعه خوبشون بود، وگرنه اونقدر تیم مالی نبودن، ولی خب قرعه خوب و اتفاقات فوتبال بالاخره دست به دست هم داد. بعد از 2018 کم کم پرتغال مثلا مدعی مثلا جام ها به نظر میرسید. اون موقع مثلا پرتغال میرفت توی تورنمنتی تو مطمئن بودی خب اینا قهرمان که نمیشن، ولی خب بعد 2016 بعد که یورو رو گرفتن کم کم یکم بقیه آدم حسابشون کردن.
League titles helped Portugal most ruthless. Arriving in Russia, he was in outstanding form. He had already won 5 Champions League titles, helped Portugal win Euro 2016, and reinvented himself from a flying winger into one of the deadliest penalty box forwards in football. Fernando Santos built Portugal around their captain, creating a pragmatic system that allowed Ronaldo to focus almost entirely on scoring goals. And for a while, it worked perfectly. Ronaldo exploded into the tournament with one of the greatest performances of his career against Spain. He scored a stunning hat-trick in a 3-3 draw before following it up with a powerful header against Morocco that secured a 1-0 win. After just 2 games, he had already scored 4 goals. But not everything went smoothly. Portugal's final group match against Iran turned into a frustrating evening for Ronaldo. Also, how many times is Iran gonna play Portugal? Leading 1-0, he had
داشت ما کنیم ما ولت نمی‌کنیم.
the chance to put the game away from the penalty spot, but he missed from his favorite position thanks to a brilliant save by Alireza Beravan. As the match became more and more chaotic, Ronaldo's frustration started to show. Fun fact, that game also brought him face to face with an old familiar figure, Carlos Queiroz.
You are my enemy.
The same manager he had publicly roasted after the 2010 World Cup. Because of that missed pen, Portugal reached the round of 16, but had to play a very good Uruguay side that knew exactly how to stop Ronaldo. Diego Godin and Jose
اصلا به این نکته توجه نکرده بودم، همون پنالتی باعث حذف پرتغال شد. خیلی جالبه، یعنی همون یه دونه قرعه‌شون رو خراب کرد. خیلی عجیبه. این یه دونه گل اگر مثلا میشد خب تفاضلش اصلا مساوی نمیشد، اون بازی میبردن و صدرنشین میشدن، شاید اصلا جام جهانی بیشتر میرفتن، همون دوره اول هست نمیشدن. و خیلی جالب بعد از ظهر این بازی قبل این بازی آرژانتین هست شده بود.
Maria Jimenez barely gave him an inch of space, while Edison Cavani scored twice to send Uruguay through with a 2-1 win. Portugal were out, but unlike previous tournaments, the blame didn't fall on Ronaldo this time. If anything, Russia 2018 showed just how dependent Portugal had become on him. He scored 4 of the team's 6 goals and produced one of the greatest individual performances of the entire tournament. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar was easily the most emotional and controversial tournament of Cristiano Ronaldo's career. Coming into the competition, Ronaldo was already dealing with huge pressure. His relationship with Manchester United had completely fallen apart. You guys remember that interview with Piers Morgan? For the first time in his career, people were seriously questioning whether he should still be Portugal's main man. For years, Ronaldo had been untouchable. Now that was starting to change. He began the tournament pretty well, scoring a penalty against Ghana and becoming the first men's player ever to score in 5 different World Cups. It It was another incredible record to add to his collection. But beyond that goal, things did not go smoothly. Ronaldo struggled to influence games from open play. He looked less mobile than before, and criticism started growing with every match. It eventually led to Santos making one of the biggest decisions in Portuguese football history.
همون پنالتی بگم هایلایتش همون بود دیگه، یعنی هایلایت رونالدو اون جام جهانی چی بود؟ همون یه صحنه بود.
Ronaldo struggled to influence games from open play. He looked less mobile than before, and criticism started growing with every match. It eventually led to Santos making one of the biggest decisions in Portuguese football history. He benched Ronaldo. Instead, young striker Gonçalo Ramos got the start against Switzerland in the round of 16. Ramos ended up scoring a hat-trick, Portugal won 6-1, and everyone was asking the same question. Was Portugal actually better without Ronaldo? Well, that question was answered when Portugal reached the quarterfinals.
واقعا یه سری ترسیده بودیم ما، یعنی اصلا دیده مثلا به این نتیجه رسیده بودیم نه مثلا مشکل پرتغال رونالدو نیست که. بعد یهوی گونزالو راموس رو بازی داد 6 تا گل زدن، اونجا یه تکون میخوره مشکل رونالدو بود. یعنی واقعا اینا شاید به رونالدو بهتر بازی میکنن که البته دوره بعد رفتن مراکش خیرشون رو گرفت، ولی اون هتریک خیلی خوب بود، یعنی اصلا هیچکس انتظارشو نداشت.
Ronaldo started on the bench again and was brought on in the second half as Portugal desperately searched for an equalizer. It never came. Morocco held on for a famous 1-0 win, knocking the Portuguese out of the World Cup. As the final whistle blew, Ronaldo walked alone down the tunnel, tears coming down his face as cameras followed him off the pitch. At 37 years old, Ronaldo understood that his dream of lifting the World Cup was slipping away, and for the first time in his career, he was no longer the center of Portugal's future. Well, now, as Ronaldo continues what is likely his final World Cup journey, his story has become far more than just goals, records, or individual awards. The transformation honestly has been remarkable, even as somebody who's not the biggest Ronaldo fan. Across 6 different World Cups, he's adapted again and again, changing his game to survive at the highest level, while generations of teammates and rivals have come and gone. Maybe this story ends with the trophy he has spent a lifetime chasing. Maybe it ends in heartbreak one final time. Either way, Ronaldo's relentless pursuit of greatness has left a mark on the World Cup that will never be forgotten. To see just how good the Portuguese team around him is, you got.
خیلی ممنون که این ویدیو رو نگاه کردید، واقعا ازتون متشکریم که تا آخر ما رو تحمل کردید. حالا در مورد پایان بندیش هم بگم که رونالدو قطعا یکی از 5 بازیکن برتر تاریخه و اینکه چقدر میخواد رتبه خودش رو تو این بین این 5 تا بازیکن برتر تاریخ بالاتر ببره، به این بستگی داره که این جام جهانی رو ببره یا نبره. حالا میگن که حالا 6 گیمز 7 گیمز یه مهم نیست، ولی واقعا مهمه. یعنی چیز جام جهانی کسی نداشته باشه اصلا یک سوراخ بزرگیه در کریر هر نفر. امیدوارم که سالم و سلامت باشید. نظراتتون رو تو کامنت ها برامون بنویسید، خوشحال میشم ببینم نظراتتون رو. و چی بگم دوباره گفتم نظر جالبه. با اعلام ساعت فکر کنم 12 و نمیدونم چند 1 شب 2 شب از شما خداحافظی میکنیم. امیدوارم که سالم و سلامت باشید.